Nablus is steeped in over 5,000 years of history, during which it has been the focal point for political, social and economic activity. Nablus takes its name from the Greek Flavia Neapolis, a city built in the year 2000 in the Common Era, near to the biblical city of Shechem. Over the different periods of authority and occupation of Palestine, Nablus has been at the forefront of historical events, and it has produced prominent leaders in the fields of science, literature and culture. The Governorate of Nablus today is home to around 336,000 inhabitants. They are distributed between the city and the surrounding 60 villages and the 4 refugee camps, housing those who were expelled from their homes in the war of 1948. Nablus is home to 2 of Palestine's largest refugee camps, Balata and Askar. This city serves as a model for coexistence between the 3 religions represented here. The majority of Muslims live side by side with the 2 minorities, Christian and Samaritan. The incidences of religious tolerance between the 3 groups have been few and far between, resulting in a cooperative and harmonious atmosphere. Agricultural lands in the Governorate of Nablus have always been the food basket for other areas of Palestine. Indeed, the late President Arafat called Nablus the economic capital of Palestine because of the amount of economic and industrial activity. Nablus has a good reputation in Palestine for education. Palestine's largest university, An-Najah National University, is located here, providing more than 60 academic programs to over 16,000 students. The university receives applications from thousands of high school leavers every year and does its best to place them in programs suited to their ability and aptitude. An-Najah University competes well with other universities in the region, seeing many of its graduates successfully finding work in the Gulf nations and further afield. In spite of Nablus's glowing economic record in the past, today it has become the poor man of the West Bank. For the 8th year in succession, the Israeli occupation continues to strangulate economic, social and cultural activity, making even everyday life difficult. Unhappily, Nablus leads the tables enumerating the people killed, injured, maimed and imprisoned. Incursions and military operations by Israeli military are frequent in Nablus. During these attacks, people are killed, houses are demolished, institutions come under attack, and Nablus citizens are arrested and detained. Even medical teams and journalists have come under attack. The headquarters of the security services and governorate administration, located at the Muqatta, did not escape Israeli destruction. The buildings and their contents, including all records, were lost when in 2006 the place was shelled and razed to the ground. Since the year 2000, sieges, invasions, closures and the military checkpoints surrounding Nablus have caused a significant economic downturn and the closure of institutions, companies and factory doors. Unemployment is increasing and the estimated daily loss in trading as a result of the blockade of Nablus is $1.2 million. The Israeli authorities grant permits to traders and companies to enter Israel business to only 30% of applicants. The restriction on movement causes difficulty for anyone wishing to enter or leave Nablus, but males aged 28 or younger have a particularly difficult time, being subject to stringent checks and frequent denial of passage. Students who live in the villages beyond the checkpoints are singled out because they have to queue for many hours before they are searched and allowed to travel home. Closure also has a detrimental impact on the movement of goods in both directions, which results in higher transport and freight costs, which in turn leads to losses in the economic sector and the migration of capital and the lack of basic materials in the market and consequently higher prices. Closure has also affected the health situation and the level of health service delivery. Nablus is the centre of health services to the main cities in the north of the West Bank, serving more than 1 million citizens. For example, a pregnant woman from Asira Ash-Shamalia, a village which used to be only 7 minutes away, now has to take a detour of a minimum of 40 minutes because the road connecting it to Nablus is closed by a military checkpoint. There are many reported cases of women giving birth at checkpoints because they are prevented from proceeding, and worse cases of people dying because medical attention is delayed by searches at checkpoints. The confiscation of large areas of agricultural land owned by Palestinian residents for the construction of Israeli settlements has heightened Nablusi citizens' sense of injustice as they watch their trees and livelihoods stolen from them, with nobody to turn to for protection. This, alongside the increasing disparities between them, the owners of the land, and the armed settlers who receive protection from the Israeli army, is leading to an increase in tension and the potential for further friction. The presence of 4 refugee camps in the city adds to the complexity of the economic situation in Nablus. The crowded and substandard living conditions persist in the absence of a political solution to the issue of refugees, thus contributing to the deterioration in the overall situation in the city of Nablus. Nablus may not be in dire need of special assistance from the international community, but it would benefit enormously from the end of the policy of collective punishment that affects the daily lives of residents. The immediate lifting of the siege and the checkpoints would achieve this, and would rekindle the dying spirit of its citizens who eagerly aspire for freedom and peace.